Welcome to this episode of the Tequila Hombre, where today we're going to be taking a look at and doing a tasting review of La Luna Mezcal right here on the Tequila Hombre. Coming up next. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Tequila Hombre, where today we're going to be taking a look at and doing a tasting and review of La Luna Mezcal. And yeah, I'm going to be working through some bottles here. Like Ryan says here about the drink, can we all just get together and say a prayer for my liver? It's probably going to need it, seriously, because there's a good amount of mezcal here that we're going to be drinking. And I'll tell you guys all about this stuff. So today, what I've got, we've already reviewed the Expedicio, and if you guys want, we can talk about this one again. But I'll be tasting the Cuprita and telling you guys about that one. We'll be doing the Manso Sahuayo. We'll be doing the... Oh, this is a Tequila and Cuprita Ensemble right here. And I think that is it, right? That's it. That's all I have. So I think, well, actually, we can talk about this one. I've already tasted this one and told you guys about this one before, but we have the Weber Blue, the Tequila one as well here. So we'll talk about all these. I've already talked and gave you guys notes on the Tequila and I did the Expedicio for it, but we can talk about this a little bit if I need to sip it again for you guys, reminding you guys about that one. We can do that as well. And then, of course, you can't forget, like, one of the best mezcals that I personally have had the pleasure of having. Fantastic stuff. If you haven't already gotten this, the La Luna Mezcal Ancestral, pick it up at Ferment and Still. It is fantastic stuff. I can't tell you enough how good this is. We'll see if we find anything else here in the mix that's that I think to be just as good. All right, so a little background story about about La Luna Mezcal. It is owned by a gentleman named Salvador Chavez. And I think that he's probably one of the best people that we can get to talk about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome from his car, just in time, Salvador Chavez, the owner of La Luna Mezcal. So I know we don't have you for very long today, Salvador. So I just wanted to start off and kind of have you talk a little bit about the different expressions that we're going to taste through today. Starting with, I think, let's start with the Cuprita. Let me, hold on. Are they there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you now.
Okay, great. Yeah, for sure. So we're tasting Chino.
Well, I don't have the Chino, but we just put it in. So what I'm tasting is the Cuprita.
Okay, great.
The Manso Sahuayo.
Okay, perfect.
And we're doing this Weber Blue and Cuprita Ensemble that I have.
Okay, great.
And then
okay.
we can talk. I know you didn't really talk too much about the Expedicio, but maybe you can talk about this one as well. I did the review on it before, and I really enjoyed it. But maybe you can give some people the background on that and how that agave is different.
Absolutely. So as a whole, I think that it's fair to start with saying that La Luna Mezcal is a focused effort in Michoacán, and I think that everybody that might be a newer thing to understand, only because what we get in the what comes from Mexico, from Oaxaca in terms of mezcal. And we get a chance to be from Michoacán. That's where I'm from, my family's from, my heritage and my background's from. So we try to represent that state as best as we can. And our diversity in expressions is pretty vast. 21 expressions deep these days. So, I'm happy to start with our black label, the Cuprita that you mentioned. I think that's what everybody finds first.
Yeah.
It is, Cuprita in Michoacan is kind of like our espadín, not at all in terms of flavor profile or yield or anything like that, just specifically because it's the most abundantly available agave. So most Michoacanos, almost all Michoacanos that produce mezcal always have at least one cupreta in their lineup. That seems to be kind of the situation. If some of you folks ever get a chance to go to Etucuaro or Morelia area in that region around Morelia, almost everybody always leads with their cupreta there, whereas in Oaxaca, everyone leads with their espadín. So that's what's kind of cool about our production. Our the start of our story is that black label. It's what you guys would find most available. I'll yield to you, Mark, in terms of what you guys sell it for, but it's usually hovering around the mid 40s, lower 40s in the general market. So it's a great value. It's always going to be 46% and up in terms of percentage of alcohol, which is an important pillar we always try to hit in terms of preserving the kind of historic taste profile of what Michoacan has been used to. So it's a great expression. It's vibrant. It's kind of floral and citrusy. Yes, it's a great sipper. Great fun. Great affordable sipper in the market.
Great. Okay, so tell us a little bit now about the Manso Sahuayo.
Manso Sahuayo, on a different level, is very special to our lineup because Manso Sahuayo is an agave from the northwest part of Michoacan, really close to Jalisco. The Sahuayo Cotija area, the northwest part, is just under the border of Jalisco. We're just south of it. And it's one of the few agaves that I've come across that actually calls out its town or municipality. Sahuayo is where it's from. And so the term manso means tame. And so locally, if any of you guys ever go visit Sahuayo and you say, hey, I'd love to try a mezcal made from Cenizo, Manso, or Chato, it'd be saying the same thing. It's all synonymous there. It's the same agave. And all of the terms are used to define it or how people know it are based on a characteristic of it. Manso means tame because it's a little bit easier to handle or manage once you harvest it. Okay. Whereas in Cotija, right around the corner from Sahuayo, where we're from, there's a Bruto, which is literally like the opposite of a Manso. So there's Bruto and then Manso, polar opposites. Manso is easier to handle once you harvest it because it doesn't give off as much carame, which usually gives you a lot of skin irritation. Whereas Bruto, if you handle it without gloves, without long sleeves, it gives off a lot of carame that would make your skin very irritable. A lot of rashes, a lot of itching. So Manso means tame in that sense. Sahuayo is where it's from, and together it's Manso Sahuayo. If they called it Chato, it's referencing the penca, the leaf itself. It kind of goes narrow, it flares out a little bit, and then it goes back to narrow and pointy at the very end with the thorn. Chato is like my nose. A lot of times when I was young, they call it "tienes una nariz chata" or "chato," right? Where it's like it's a wider nose, and so that's what the term "chato" means. And then cenizo is because it's got a very gray tone to it, kind of ashy. Cenizo and ashy are kind of synonymous. So it's a great expression, though. I don't know, Mark. I think you're gonna have fun with that one. That batch specifically that you have, if I'm not mistaken, it's lote uno, dos, or tres. I forget. It's one of those three. 1, 2, or 3.
It doesn't have a load on it on the top.
On the top right by the moon, on the top right.
Yeah, it doesn't have one on there. It doesn't have a load on the bottle.
No. Look. I
one.
Go a little lower.
One.
Yeah, one. Exactly, one.
Okay.
Yeah, one.
Look like a line.
Yeah, lote uno. So lote uno specifically, I remember had a lot of mint, cotija cheese nose. Very confusing. Everyone smelt it and then they tasted it and said, "Oh my God, it tastes way different than I thought it was going to taste because of the smell." It's a very dynamic expression. That lote specifically is very special. So I'm glad that you're going to taste it because I think you're going to have fun with it. And then lastly, you were talking about the Cuprita Tequilana, right?
Yes.
White label. So a little bit on that one. Cuprita is obviously, like I mentioned, the most abundant expression. Tequilana, on the other hand, is very abundant in Michoacan, but usually gets used for tequila. Michoacan is just south of Jalisco, as I mentioned, and we also have the denomination of origin to make tequila. And so because of it, there's a lot of Blue Weber in our state. So this ensamble is kind of like a, like a first step into blends in Michoacan, and by ensambles, I mean agaves cooked together, fermented together, distilled together. It's not a cold juice blend. It's not an ensamble en frío. It's an ensamble from the beginning to end. So really the fermentation there where two different fibers and sugar complexities are working together to make alcohol is kind of where it gets dynamic and fun. Of the three, I think you, Mark, knowing you, I think you're going to have a lot of fun with the Manso Sahuayo once again. It's going to be one of those things where it's going to take you on a little bit of a roller coaster. And the other two maybe are a little bit more, I would call them straightforward. But they're very fun, great. And obviously, like I said, Michoacan all the way through with La Luna.
Great. Well, we also added the Bruto that you mentioned to ferment and still today. We ordered the Chino Silvestre as well, the Silvestre.
Yep.
And we have the Chino Manso Ensemble was ordered as well. And then the 6 Maguey, which you said before was like one that we have that coming too. So can you tell us a little bit about those before you head out?
Absolutely. So the Chino Silvestre is a really fun one because it's actually, Silvestre means wild. And those batches are always wild Cuprita because Chino is a local name for Cuprita. And so what we did in our labels, if you guys ever pay attention to our labels, if we reference the local name to the agave, we always reference it as maguey, 100% maguey, bruto. And scientifically, bruto is inaquidens, but we reference it. So I always tell people my birth name is Salvador, but growing up in my household, everyone always called me Chavito or Chava. And so I always say Chavito and Chava are like my maguey name. Salvador is like my agave name. That's kind of like the way I like to explain it to people. And that's what happens on our labels. If we say maguey, it's referencing what the locals would call. If you went to a town, you say, oh, the Chino, it's going to be Cuprita. If you say Bruto, it's going to be Inaquidens. Because in Michoacan, if you Inaquidens is represented both as Alto as well as Bruto. And so those are what locals would call it. So going back to the point, the Chino Silvestre was our first double gold winning expression. It is easily one of the most kind of herbaceous or kind of like herb heavy expressions, usually very piney. A wild Cuprita is going to struggle a little bit more. And usually through that struggle, more complexities are created. If you can think about it, it has to be out there fending for itself every day, competing with trees and shrub and grass and all these things for its nutrients and everything. It struggles a little bit more. But through that struggle, what we're getting is a more complex spirit because that agave is just going to present that. So I really enjoy the Chino Silvestre. I think usually I want to say through a lot of crowded tastings, Chino usually stands out to people like, oh my God, this is that. It has a lot to it. Bruto is my family's favorite because Bruto is more commonly done in Cotija. Like if you went to Cotija, you're not really going to find a Tequilana. You're not going to find a Chino. You're going to find Bruto. Bruto is what grows wild there in that region. It's what's most commonly known within my family. And so that's the one that originally when I went down to Cotija when I was a kid and, my family was sipping mezcal and eating Cotija cheese side by side as a great pairing, it was always Bruto. So it's a kind of the gusto histórico of my family. It's a great one. You're going to end up receiving one of our more recent batches, and that one to me has a lot of like oregano and kind of anise aromas and flavors to it. Really great. I actually just got done doing a tasting over here in Pomona, kind of a staff training, and that's the one that kind of stood out to a lot of them. They were like, man, we can't believe it's 48.5% alcohol. It's so easy to consume. And they were kind of shocked by it. And I always tell people, Bruto is really low yielding for us. The agave is massive in size. It's an agave that can be as young as 10 years, but as old as 25 years to mature. So it's very special in that sense. But it yields very little because the sugar content is very low. The bricks on it are very low, usually in the low teens. And it's something that, like, if a piña weighs about 1,000 pounds, we're only going to yield about 10 bottles. So it takes about 100 pounds of agave sometimes to make one liter. So
Wow.
it's very low yielding, but it's very complex, very nice. It's very pleasant, um, very enjoyable. And then lastly, you were talking about the six maguey ensemble. That, in my opinion, is the best expression we've ever done thus far. But emotionally, it's my favorite because there's a few things that go into it. One, Michoacan has a very little diversity in its agave compared to Oaxaca, which I mentioned has the most representation in the United States. We have six magueyes or agaves we've worked with in Michoacan as a brand. That's the most that I've ever seen anyone in Michoacan work with. We've tried to look from border to border in Michoacan to find what's available in our state. This batch was done in Cotija, which is where we're from. The vinata that we have in Cotija is about 100 yards away from where my family was born. My dad, my grandparents, my uncles and aunts. So it's a very special vinata already because of that. Then take into account that we took one, because that oven is 6 tons. We took 1 ton of all the agaves we have found in Michoacan to make the 6 agave blend in that 6-ton oven. So it was special in all of these situations. Additionally, usually the wild geese that's available in Cotija is always to some degree a little bit more complex or giving in terms of what we ultimately yield, because I don't know why. My assumption is maybe because we share the same air and yeast as a lot of the traditional cheesemakers in Cotija, so we get a lot of that funk, a lot of that depth because of it. So it has a little bit more to it. But then if you think about 6 agaves going into an oven, ultimately playing together in fermentation to make this expression, it's a very, very fun one. So going back to it, where my family's from, that vinata specifically, that wild yeast, the 6 agaves. The most I've ever seen in an ensemble is 7 from a brand Mesonte that was a agave production made in Jalisco,
Mm-hmm.
and us having 6 was very special. It was a challenge. It was a logistical nightmare, but we got it done, and I think we created a very unique profile in that expression. So
So the six
it's
agave
emotionally my
are
favorite.
Bruto, Chino,
Manso Sahuayo,
Tequiliana,
Espadincillo, and then
Esperincillo.
lastly, Verde or Salmiana, which is very rarely noted in Michoacan. Uh, Salmiana is more commonly known from San Luis Potosí, but in the Tarímbaro, in the Pátzcuaro area of Michoacán, there's a lot of Salmiana, and so we were able to use it. We've made only one expression as a single varietal with Salmiana, and it was a pechuga we did with pavo, with turkey. But we've never brought it to market. So that's the only agave people that know La Luna have not tried on a single varietal expression. But we're gonna bring one up soon. So it's great because it's the 6 that you just mentioned.
Okay. All right, and then a question for you too. I know you mentioned Cenizo on the Manso Sahuayo, right?
Yep.
It's not the Duranganist Cenizo. It's a different, because sometimes they have different names, although it's the same name, but the same name for different agaves.
Yeah. So interesting enough, when we first were bringing that to market, we were going to try to bring it up as cenizo, and the CRM, the Consejo Regulador de Mezcal, they said no because they didn't want to confuse people with Duranguenses, which is what you're mentioning, which is cenizo. And so the reason they're both cenizo is because locally people recognize that ashy color to the agave. And so in the Duranguense cenizo has a gray ashy color to it. So does this one, but they're different. If you saw it, Mark, I know you've been to Durango. I remember you had gone to
I'm not. I haven't got.
the
We're gonna plan a trip. I haven't gone yet, but I'm supposed to
Oh, got
go.
it. I know that I understand that cenizo duranguense is way smaller than what the Manso Sahuayo. Very different too. The pencas on the duranguense cenizo a little bit wider, a little bit more floppy. The Manso Sahuayo has a lot of kind of tequilana, angustifolia like qualities in the sense that it has very spade like pencas, very sharp and narrow and long. And the reason that they call it chato is because it flares out at one point and comes back into being the speedy
Well,
finish.
is would
So
it be
it
the
kind of looks
same?
like what's that?
Would it be the same chato as like what they used in Caballito Cerrero? They use the chato, but I don't know if that's more Augustifolio chato or if that's, because I know it's a cousin or was in the Augustifolio genre
Like
or whatever.
you know what? I've never concluded that, but I've always thought the same thing when I saw the Chato on the. Obviously, like I said, Jalisco borders Michoacan or vice versa. It's, so there might be some overlap there. I've never gone out to look at their Chato, but I'll try to pursue a picture because I'm curious if it is maybe very similar genes to to each other. The only difference I would tell you is and once again, it's a CRM who does this.
Oops.
And it has no signification. So we've never concluded, at least us via the CRM, what it actually is in terms of like botany. But in terms of local name, Manso Sahuayo, Ceniche, Chato, all three of those kind of play into what it is.
Well, awesome. And last but not least, of course, we do have to talk about my favorite La Luna expression so far.
Yeah.
And this is the ancestral.
That's been going well, right? I hear people love that.
People are going crazy over this. And seriously, it's like as soon as they try it, they come back and they buy like 3 or 4 more bottles of it. It is going crazy. And thank you for allowing us to have this. And everyone keeps asking, so are we going to do any more with La Luna? And I just wanted to say, after we're done with this, we'd love to do something special, and I'd love to have you on where you can spend some time and answer questions for everybody and talk to them. And maybe we'll do it when we get those that we just added to the site. When I get them in, we can arrange to do a tasting with those and talk about those more in depth when you have the time.
100%. I mean, yeah, the more of those that we do, it's an amazing accomplishment to be able to get it sold to you guys. And have that unique offering. As of now, I don't know. Every time, even I have a local buddy who bought one. He surprised me, and he sent me a picture one day. And I was like, "Oh, you bought one?" And he was like, "Yeah, man." He goes, "The there's and blah, and he mezcal," and I was shocked. And then the other day he brought it over, and we were sipping on it again. And I always feel a little bit guilty because when we do special things like that, and then the whole batch gets purchased, then sometimes I'm like thinking, I should have kept more bottles for myself because I don't have anything to keep sitting on. I'm excited that really the feedback on it's been amazing. Of course, we're going to do more with fermented still. I mean, that's the idea is to be able to bring to people more complex flavors and fun expressions from Michoacan that we can produce. So that one was unique because it was a tree trunk still. It was unique because it was a rainy season, which the label calls out. I wanted to give the nod to the fact that it was a rainy season expression because I think it's one of those things where we have open air fermentation. It's we don't inoculate with any yeast. It's just what's wild and in temperature control. So all of these things play into how the fermentation was longer in the rainy season. It was colder. The yeast available during the rainy season is way different than maybe what's available during the really hot seasons. All of these things. So it all plays a role. I almost be tempted to do another batch of the same thing, tequila with granada, but do a hot season and bring it out to taste it. It'd be interesting. Same exact process, distilled with pomegranate, and just see what people might think of it. Because the fermentation inevitably is going to be less. It's going to be like probably 8 days versus 12 or 13, what that one was. And different wild yeast, all of these things. It makes it, the conversation is going to keep going. That's why I always tell people, La Luna conversation for you guys is never going to be done, because if you bought Lote 40 or 40 of Chino, and then next you run across the Lote 50, it's going to be different. And we're going to have a different conversation around what you find similar and also very different. And I want to make sure everybody knows our batches for La Luna are not done to the expression. They're just done as a brand. So if Lote 50 is Chino, then Lote 51 could be Manso Sahuayo. Lote 53 could be Bruto. We don't go in order per expression. We just go in order as a brand. And we feel very blessed that we're getting close to Lote 100 soon, which is crazy. But we've been growing and bringing cool expressions to the market, and we're proud.
So this is Lote 1. This is your first expression you guys ever did?
It was the first one we brought to market when we started. The story goes, Manso Sahuayo Tequilana, the original Tequilana we did with the 50% Criollo, 50% regular Blue Weber. And then we did Chino Silvestre. Those were Lote 1, 2, and 3 that we brought up after we started producing And we started because we were first renting a facility in Inda Parapel, then we built the Vinata in Inda Parapel, and then we also had the Vinata in Cotija. So that you're literally, you and your hand there with Lote One have like the beginning of our story, of our trajectory as producers. It's a pretty cool situation.
Oh, awesome. Oh, I look forward to tasting it then. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're really busy.
For the future.
Oh, go ahead.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying thank you for listening to me. I went on a little longer.
Oh, no, it's okay. You're always welcome here. A matter of fact, the people here, some of the comments are like, we'd like to have more time with him when he gets a chance. So let's arrange when these other bottles come in. We'll do another tasting and then we'll open up for Q&A with them, because everybody, I mean, the only time we brought you on before was when we were talking about the special batch, but I think everybody would like to have more of a chance to ask you questions and stuff, and I think they would really enjoy that. So let's plan when I get the other bottles, including the 6 Mage. We'll do a tasting through it, and we'll have you on where you can sit down and answer questions, and we can just talk for a good hour with you. Okay?
You got it. I look forward to it.
All right, great. Thank you so much. I know you got to go, Salvador. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. And
of course,
I'm sure you'll watch the review when it's over to see what I think about these different expressions.
Yeah, hell yeah. Thank you.
All right, talk to you later, man.
Bye.
Bye. All right, so there you go, Salvador Chavez, man, and my buddy from La Luna Mezcal kind of told us a little bit about what we should expect. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the tasting portion. And so you do know, all of his methods for these are artisanal. And I talked to you guys about that. You know, when you look on the bottle, you want to make sure it either says artisanal or ancestral on it. And of course, like the Cuprita, the first one that I'll be tasting in, it does say Mezcal artisanal. So in order to say that, it has to meet certain guidelines set up by the CRM. And this one is Loach. It looks like PRO2, I think. I can't. Let's see. Just so you guys can see. It kind of has a reflection on it. PRO3 or PRO1, something like that. All right, so like you said, the batches will taste a little different. But so far, everything that I've ever had from La Luna has been great. So I'm looking forward to really jumping into these and seeing what we got. So this is the Cuprita. Yeah, so this one's on the nose. It's very tequila-like. So those of you that are looking for more of a tequila type of flavor, it's similar to tequila. Weber Blue. It's got a sweet cinnamon, little fruitiness on there too. More like a tropical fruit, a little hint of citrus. It's very much on the fruity side. So let's see what we get on the let's look at it in the glass too. So we'll go through that stuff. So looking at it in the glass, it coats the glass beautifully. Oops, let's back it up here. You can see the legs and tears coming down the glass. It looks wonderful in the glass. Looking at it too, it's crystal clear. Little glimmers of silver coming off of it. It looks fantastic. All right, so oh, that's really good. He's right. If this would be really good for more of a new mezcal drinker, it's very much starts out like tequila, where it has a cinnamon-esque sweetness to it, and then it hits you with a really nice tart fruit. It's more of along the lines of like a sweet tart fruit. So it's like if you've taken a sweet tart and you sucked on a sweet tart before, if you like sweet tarts, you're really going to dig the flavor on this, because it really has this tart sweet fruit, like a grapefruit, like in citrus. Definitely heavy on the citrus side, coming through on this. Very nice. This is a really easy sipper. This is a hot day, sitting out in the backyard, kind of mezcal. Really good for a beginning mezcal drinker. I think somebody coming from tequila would love this. It's really good, but very, very fruity, very sweet as well. So sweet, like a sweet tart. It's literally like if you were taking a sweet tart. I'm trying to think of like what kind of sweet tart it would be in line with. It's probably something more on the tart side, so like a raspberry or maybe a berry esque kind of tartness on it. It's really good. It's really good. I think my wife might even like this. It's got that really interesting tartness to it. Really good. Okay. So next we're gonna well, should we do the Cuprita Tequiliana? Next, kind of keep in line with the Cuprita agave first. So this is the Cuprita Tequiliana Ensemble. So this is the mixture of both worlds. Where I said this Cuprita was very agave, very tequila-like. So I think for sure this is probably going to be a really good match for the two of these together. So I'll just put a little bit in the glass. All right. And ABV, the ABV on the Cuprita, let's do Cuprita, is 47.44% alcohol by volume. So it is at 94 proof. All right, and this one is 45.12. 45.12 ABV, so 90 proof. All right. So looking at this one in the glass, it coats the glass beautifully. You can see the legs and tears just starting to break on it. Nice viscosity to it. All right, so, and then looking at it, it's crystal clear. Looks beautiful. Looks amazing. All right, so on the nose. Yeah, this is this is something that tequila drinkers are gonna. I could pour this and tell you it was a really special tequila, and you guys would go, "Oh wow, that's really good. This is really good tequila." It's got that super sweet cinnamon-esque notes on the nose. Definitely fruit, tropical fruit. Berry. It's got like fresh berries. Even a hint of banana on there. It's very fruity on the nose. It smells really good. Oh yeah, this is like tequila. Seriously, this is like a really good tequila. It's really good blanco. If you're looking for something super complex and interesting, that probably isn't going to be a good one for you. But if you're looking for a dive into mezcal to find something that's similar to tequila, Weber Blue and stuff, this is your one right here. This is so much like just a really nice blanco tequila. Yeah, that's good. All right. So let's take a look at the Manso Sahuayo. Is Rick on? Rick Myers, are you on? I wonder if Rick's here. I didn't see his. I didn't see the mouse. But this one is the one I'm really looking forward to. I've heard so much about this, and Salvador has told me about this one before. So this is the Manso Sahuayo. This is batch number 1. We do have Manso Sahuayo in our on ferment and still. It's not batch 1 though. This is one that I bought a while back that I've had on the shelf that I was waiting to do a review on, and Now we just finally got to La Luna. So I said, oh, there he is. There's Rick. So, so let's see what we get on. Let's take a look at this in the glass. So taking a look at it in the glass, it coats the glass beautifully. You can see those legs and tears breaking on it. Looking at it in the glass, it's crystal clear, little glimmers of silver shining through on it. Looks amazing. All right, so on the nose. Oh my God. Dude. He wasn't kidding. Wow, it's definitely like fresh cut grass coming through. Yeah, it's got that cheese funk. Wow. Almost in the lines of not, I wouldn't say blue cheese, but it definitely has a cheese-esque kind of funk to it. Definitely picking up hints of mint. Very green. It's very green. Oh, wow. Yeah, definitely mint in there. I'm trying to think of what other... definitely fresh cut grass. It's very grassy. It's like taking cheese and grass together and mixing some mint in with it. It's like it smells like working in your garden, in your herb garden, while chewing on some cheese. Wow. Okay. So let's see how it tastes. There's a lot of funk going on the nose on this. Seriously. Yeah. That is, and I love interesting stuff like this. This is definitely, if you guys want something that's will take you on a ride on the nose, he wasn't kidding. This is, wow. It's, you know what, it's kind of like a cheese. It's got kind of like a, yeah, it's like an herb garden, fresh cut grass, and a bunch of cheese all put in a bin. You guys are gonna like this, seriously. If you're into the cheese funk, like the mouse is, Rick Myers, you guys, the nose on this is gonna drive you crazy. Oh, on the palate though. Oh wow, that's super nice. It's like just a beautiful cinnamon, like sweet cinnamon that comes through. It's really rich. Definitely a hint of fresh cut grass that comes through. I'm not picking up much of the cheese funk on the taste. But the taste is actually kind of different than the nose. So he was correct when he said that. Wow. It's not fruity though. I wouldn't say fruit. It's along the lines of like a cinnamon-esque sweetness. A hint of definitely grass, herbs like cilantro, little hints of cilantro in there, and thyme. It's more herbal, herbaceous, but it starts off with a sweet cinnamon-esque type of beginning on it, and then it kind of fills with like oregano, cilantro, and more of an herbal palate to it. But it's different, way different than the nose. The nose, you got this cheesy funk in there. You got like fresh cut grass. It's like if you've ever worked on trimming trees and stuff, like pine. It's got a pine-esque kind of nose to it as well. When you're cutting like pine branches, or if you've ever cut rosemary. It's got a rosemary-esque kind of nose to it as well, where if you've ever cut fresh rosemary, you know that smell, it smells really good, but it's definitely more of a green or herbal kind of nose to it. That's what you get on the nose on this. It's really good. Really, really, really good. All right, so how would I rate these? Okay, so looking at the agave scale, oops. What happened? Oh. So looking at the agave scale, I would give the Cuprita 4 agave. I would give the Cuprita Tequila Weber Blue one probably. Yeah, I'll give it 4 agave. It's really good, but it is kind of, I'm sorry for the use of the word, but it is kind of bland. But it's very good for a beginner mezcal drinker. Somebody that's not really looking for a lot of complexity and stuff to start. The Manso Sahuayo, this one for me pulls a full 5 agave on this one. This one is beautiful. And it's completely different than, a lot of the ones that I've been doing are fruity. Or have a little bit of cheesiness to it. This pulls out the cheese, and then it says a total you to the fruit, and it says we're going herbal, and it's just really neat, grassy herbal-esque kind of nose and stuff to it. So there you go. We have Manso Sahuayo on fermented still. I highly recommend it. You guys are going to be talking about this for days after this. I know after you've tried it. I know people are going to be talking about that. That one is special. The Tequila Weber Blue one is good. I've already had that. Espinacio is really good. Anything from La Luna you guys pick up on the site is going to be good. Those of you that are newer mezcal drinkers, I would recommend going more towards the Cuprita and the Cuprita Tequila Ensemble. And even the Tequila, we have the Tequila Weber Blue on fermented still as well. Any of those would be really good choices for you. Those of you that want to really get more of a flavor journey, step into the Manso Sahuayo, and you'll see that one is crazy good. And then if for somebody that wants a combination of both, we still have the Tequila Ancestral on fermented still. So when you grab a bottle of the other stuff, grab a bottle of this too, because this stuff is really special. It's people are going crazy about this stuff right now, and so I don't want you to miss out, because once it's sold out, it's gone. I'll probably have to send a couple bottles to Salvador just to give him something to sip on too, because he sold a whole batch exclusively to fermented still. So there you go. That's all I'm going to do from La Luna today. I couldn't do any more, because if I was, I would probably be stumbling out of here. But let's take a look at what our members have to say, and we'll start addressing comments and questions. Todd says he's sipping on La Luna Tequila. Oh, nice. He's actually finishing a bottle. Going to have to take care of that soon-to-be empty bottle. There you go. Yes. Replace it. And then Todd says, absolutely love the way he describes their mezcal and the processes. I would love to see more interviews. We will have him again where he can actually spend time and talk to us some more. I just thought it'd be nice to have him tell us a little bit about these before I went into them. I think Salvador could talk about his brand in his sleep. He could. To me, that's someone very proud of what he does, either for work or joy. He's very proud of what he does. He's very passionate about what he does. And that's one of the reasons why I think I've really connected with him, because he is very proud and passionate. And for those of you that don't know this too, he is the owner of Gran Duvejo as well. Gran Duvejo Tequila. That is his brand. And that's why he knows Sergio Cruz, and he's good friends with Sergio Cruz so much, because when you buy Gran Duvejo, you're supporting him as well. That's his brand. So he is in the tequila world, so he knows tequila really well. Some people didn't know that probably. Salvador, saludos from Italy. Oh, love the information. Got on real quick on my honeymoon. It's 2 a.m. Oh, wow. Cheers, everyone. We'll try La Luna Central when I'm back from my... There you go. Okay. Yeah, well, enjoy your honeymoon, my friend. Congratulations. Salute. Yeah, congrats, EBA. Yeah, he'll come back too, so don't worry about that. So thanks, Shaman and Todd. I bet Todd is loving the mezcal info. And yes, Salvador showed his passion when he's talking about. He always does. And then Rick Myers, of course, is here. Cheese Funk, yes, please. You guys, you'd love, seriously, pick up a bottle of that Manso Sahuayo. Grab it. It's so good. Yeah, the mouse. The mouse is here. Thanks for Mark for arranging the time with Salvador. Great, good. I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. He's a good friend of mine. I enjoy talking with him. Manso sounds fantastic. Mucho gusto. You're welcome, Rick. You should pick up a bottle of the Manso. It's going to drive you crazy. Seriously. I think it's going to be something that causes you to really dive down deep into the mezcal rabbit hole. And then we're going to start getting into some things too that I think is going to be more in line with what some of you like. That's a little more on the funky side. So stay here. We'll call it Marky, the Tequila Hombre and the Funky Bunch, or something like that. So, but I think you're going to really enjoy that. So you guys, don't forget to give me a like for the information I shared. Give me a like for bringing Salvador on. And more importantly, if you're not a member or you're not subscribed, subscribe so you get notification anytime we go live. Any other questions or comments before we? And if you'd like to be able to ask Salvador questions when he's on next time, make sure you join as a member, because the members are the ones who get to ask the questions and comment during the special episodes like this. They're not open for the general public. We do that because the members are the ones we consider to be really serious agave spirit drinkers. And so I want to thank all of our members that showed up today, and thank you for supporting the channel and everything that we do. We really appreciate you, and we appreciate you coming here and supporting us. Thank you for giving us a day. There you go. And yes, Tuesdays are Agave Spirits Day. We're going to be talking about all kinds of different things. Raicilla, Soto, Mezcal, Bacanora, you name it. We're going to be talking about it on Tuesdays. And if we need to, when things start really taking off, we may move and add additional days, okay? So I'm always open to that. We just need to make sure we can have the people that are interested in it. But make sure you check out Ferment and Still. We've had the whole La Luna lineup added. We just got the newer stuff in. Matter of fact, I just put my order in for the 6 Mage, the Manso Ensemble, the Chino, Silvestre, and the Bruto. I have all those coming to me. I just placed my order for them. So make sure you guys get your orders in and stock up on the La Luna. And you can actually, if you get those, the same ones, you can actually taste them with us when I have Salvador on next time and we taste through those expressions. So, yes, press the like button, you guys. Give me a like for the information I shared. And like I always said, and that's unless there's any more comments or questions from anybody. Oh, I want to clear one other thing up too, because somebody, there was a little misunderstanding about things. On this one, they use a tree trunk to do the distillation on it. It is not what a Filipino wood still is. This is not a Filipino wood still. This is a hollowed out tree trunk. A Filipino wood still looks completely different. Matter of fact, if you guys want to see what a Filipino wood still is, I can bring that up for you guys. Hold on a second. Let's do that. And the reason why I said that is because all these other expressions are done using a Filipino wood still, not the hollowed out tree trunk. So it is not the same thing. Here we go. Hold on, let me show you what the Filipino wood still looks like. It looks completely different. All right, so here, let me show you. All right. Oops. I closed the wrong thing. Nope. All right. So, here we go. All right, here you go. That is a Filipino wood still. So if you see, there's wooden slats that go up the side of it. And then there's a for this one, since it's copper, there's a copper bowl on the bottom. The heat source is underneath it. It heats up through these wooden slats here that you see that goes up to the copper top. And then it's got this, you'll see that pipe that goes down into the pipe in the side. That's the collection area where they collect the distillate. Completely different animal than the hollowed out tree trunk. So completely different. So I wanted to show that. That is what the Filipino wood still looks like. Now, if you want to see what the hollowed out tree trunk looks like, that one looks like this, which I should have a picture sitting here. Let me see, because I just pulled it out. Here. So that is the hollowed out tree trunk. It's a lot different. A lot different than the Filipino wood still. So I wanted to let that give you that information, so you don't think when it says a Filipino wood still that it means they're using hollowed out tree trunk. That is incorrect information. The only one so far that that we have here that uses the hollowed out tree trunk is the Ancestral, that is the exclusive batch for fermented still. All right, so there you go. Todd says he can't wait for his mezcal order to show up. Okay, great. I can't wait either. I want to hear what you guys think about it. If you pick up the Manso Sahuayo, I want to hear what you think about that one as well. Well, that's it for tonight, you guys. Thank you for tuning in and learning about La Luna Mezcal. And like I always say, life is too short to drink bad mezcal, so if you grab a bottle of La Luna, you'll be in good shape. Salud. Bye, guys.